three goddesses actually that Allah will talk about that the Arabs believed in. Okay, those are Lat, Manat, and Uzza. This ayah will have Lat and Uzza, and the third one, Manat, is going to be in the next ayah. Okay, so we don't know a lot about these idols, but there's a famous ancient book, Hisham al-Kalbi's, Ibn al-Kalbi's Kitab al-Asnam, the book of idols, where he actually did research whatever he could find on every idol. There's some kalam about the reliability of the information in it, because we're talking about pre-Islamic Arabia, and so the ancient history of those religions, we have less and less of that information. So the little information we have, I'm going to share with you some of those snippets. So the Kaaba was the main temple for idols, but the Arabs actually had temples all over Arabia. And so they kept idols usually in temples. And because they saw the Kaaba as the main idol, they used to actually, no, I'll get to that later. Sometimes they would take the idol and make it into like a human form, like a person standing with a sword, or a woman, draped up, or whatever. They would have these figures as idols. Or sometimes it would just be like a stone, like a large stone, like a cube-shaped stone, or like a large tall stone, like Stonehenge type stuff, right? That would be the shape of the idol. Now, they would put the idol, they had two possible choices. They would either put it in front of the Kaaba somewhere, or if they couldn't do that, they would give it some other temple somewhere near their own location, or even add multiple idols in like a different temple. So if this idol was for a certain goddess, but construction is expensive, so can you roommate with this other goddess and you guys can both share? So they did that sort of thing. Real estate was tough back then too. Okay, so now the classifications. If they were just made of stone and they were not carved up, like it wasn't like an amazing, like a Buddha type looking thing or whatever, then they would call it ansab. They would call it ansab. But if they resembled a bird, a snake, a person, or whatever, then they were called awthan or asnam, which are both words that are used in the Quran. All three of these are used in the Quran, right? But that's the naming scheme that they used. Now, because they used to do tawaf around the Kaaba, they figured that that's the right way to do any worship. So any temples they had in Arabia, they used to do tawaf there too. They used to go around it too. And because there was a sacrifice at the Kaaba, they used to also do sacrifices there. This is very important. He also argues that how did shirk start in Arabia? After Ismail alayhi salam's children became many and their religion became dominant, they spread all over. There were they were too populated. They couldn't stay all in Mecca. So they spread all over Arabia. But when they spread all over Arabia, they missed the Kaaba, because the Kaaba is associated with Ibrahim and Ismail. So they used to take pieces of the stone with them to their own village area and do tawaf of it by themselves. Like they made their own tawaf ritual, missing the Kaaba. Okay. And then later on, idols were brought in from Syria and other places for different kinds of needs. Anyway, the point is, many of these pagan rituals were inspired by what? The Kaaba, corrupted versions of what Ibrahim alayhi salam used to do. Now look at the anthropological view, the secular view. The secular view is, they're worshiping these temples and they're going around them in circles, and the Muslims do it too. They must have learned it from them. So what do? They reverse engineer it. They put the cart before the horse, right? We're saying, and what Allah has taught us is Tawheed came first and they corrupted into shirk, and they flip it and they say, oh, you see, these people, they're doing tawaf here, but there was tawaf going on near Ta'if, and it was going on near Nakhla, and it was going on there. So this was like an Arab thing. This is how the Western academic or the secularists, when they look at this history, they try to look at it and re-engineer it in this way. Anyway,